Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I will present will record the video about the requirement engineering and software modeling alternative assessment before high fidelity mockup of my system, mind care therapy appointment system. My name is Amirul Iman bin Ahmad Kefli. My matrix number is A20 EC0183. I am from course 06 and my group is number 2, which is my name. The name of the group is Legends. And I have choose to do the use case 001 make inquiry as my as my alternative assessment. So about the project, which is the project of the mind care therapy appointment system is created because of the opening of the new branches, which will increase the client who want to get further information from mind care center service. So the mind care center have created new branches of their mind care at a new place. So the new place will attract a lot of potential customer that want to gain more information what the mindcare center service can be provide their service for. So for this potential customer to get the information, they need they can for the customer to gain the information, they can gain through the social media account. So this purpose of this system is to make sure that when the customer scroll through the media social, they can gain the information that they want to know about the mindcare center through the for example automated inquiry system and supportive inquiry system. The automated inquiry system is the purpose of our project, which is, for example, when the question that which it can display the frequently asked question. For example, like the what kind of service that will be have, where the location of the mindcare center service, and what type of service that will be provided. So this frequently asked question will be answered by the system, which they can display the answer quickly. So if the customer ask this question, they can directly display the answer for the question for the customer to uh, to to read it. If the customer asks if the customer want to know the detail more about the what kind of service that will be provided of the mind care center, then we directly can have a question. They can directly ask the question to the therapy in charge through the mind care media social account. So this to make sure that the customer can the customer can ask directly to the therapy in charge, and the therapy can answer the proper and the the correct answer for the question of the customer. Besides that, the purpose of the project is also for the appointment schedule system, which is to update the therapy session. For example, when the customer want to book the therapy, it will directly use this appointment schedule system that it will display what appointment that is available from the available therapy available, and then the customer can choose the therapy and choose the therapy session, and then after they choose, this data will be kept and processed, and then it will send to a notification to the therapy for the approval. After they approve, it means it will send the notification back to the customer to say that their therapy session have been approved. So this process will make sure the appointment that they will have, the appointment schedule will be successfully efficient. Besides that, the system is more beneficial for the stakeholder as they can reduce the manpower. For example, like the automated inquiry system. Do you know how many of people need to answer back the same kind of question, same kind of answer back to the question? So this kind of thing only waste the power time and waste the manpower. And besides that, the stakeholder need to have another kind of, have to hire more people for this kind of job to answer the question. So this can make sure if they have the system, it can reduce the manpower and time to take care of all the client inquiry with the answer of auto reply inquiry. Besides, the system can help to organize the schedule of therapy session, which is more effective. So there is no need more for people, or they need to hire more people for the to schedule the therapy session. As beside that, the system can make sure the therapy session that will be more efficient and no error can happen. If we decide to depend on the manpower, sometimes error can happen and it can be critical for the customer and the therapy to have a appointment. So next we proceed to the UI flow. For the as I say, I choose to create the main inquiry. So this is my GUI, which is the chatty features. There will be two type of chatty features of inquiry, which is auto reply inquiry. For the basic and common question, for example, like location, like I just said before, and for but I my focus is more on the inquiry, which is it will be direct to the therapy in duty for the question. For example, when the customer want to ask the question more detail about the session of therapy, they can directly ask the question to the therapy. So this is the chat room that when they click at the inquiry, they will go to the mind care center therapy. And for example, like they want to ask, hello, I have a few questions about the mind care therapy. Can I know what I'm speaking to? So when the customer asks the question, they will directly ask to the therapy in the session. For example, like Dr. Helisa, a therapy at the mind care center, will be the one that will help the customer. So this to make sure when the customer want to ask the question, this purpose or when they ask the question, so it will directly ask to the therapy. So this can make sure the customer will be comfortable and all the question will be answered. That it will make sure the customer more approve of the answer of the therapy of their question. So how the process of they want to ask the question. So for example, they can only type it through their laptop, and when they done want to ask the question, they can send it with this click the button, and then their question will be sent to the therapy. So they can wait for a few seconds or minutes or hours. If the therapy is not busy, then the therapy will reply back. Besides the text, we also have a features where the customer can use the voice message to ask the question. So when they ask the question, they only need to hold this button, and they can hold the button and record their voice of the question they want to ask, and then after that send it through click this button, and then the voice message will be sent to the therapy. So for system use case, for the subsystem I have been used, which is the inquiry subsystem, which is the inquiry subsystem will be make inquiry, answer inquiry for the inquiry directly to the therapy, and auto reply inquiry. And then for the use case of description, which is the use case, the history log for version 1 is I only create the initial use case, for example, like normal flow. And then 1.1, I fixed some of the normal flow, and 1.2 fixed the exception. And for the 2.0, added related requirement, which is this part. And this is the latest version 2.0. The use case ID is use case 001. The use case name is make inquiry, created by myself, Amirul, and that created 20 June for the first version, and the last revision 2.0 is 35 June. The actor is customers that will be used. The description of this use case is customer will ask question to the therapist. The precondition is customer already find the answer through auto reply inquiry, but still did not get the answer of their question. And no, so when after they answer the auto reply, they still want to ask the detail about the what kind of service. say so they can directly use this inquiry to ask directly to the therapy. So for the normal flow, customer search the social media of MindCare account. Customer found the social media of MindCare account. Then customer ask the question to the assigned therapy. Number 4, customer wait for the question to be answered by the therapy. The alternative flow is cancel the process. And section is customer search the social media of MindCare account. Customer did not found the MindCare social media account. Customer cannot send question to the therapy. Customer left the MindCare social media account. So if the result of the normal flow, the post condition is customer get to send the question to the therapy through the MindCare social media account. So for the related requirement, which is related requirement, we use three type, but for this kind, I only use two type, which is functional requirement and the quality requirement. But they also a constraint, but I did not use it. And the priority, for example, the basic, excitement, and the performance. So basic is mostly for functional requirement. For example, the system should be able to display the social media account of the MindCare account. The system should be able to allow the customer to enter the message or questionnaire from the customer. The system should be able to for the therapy to answer or reply the message through social media of MindCare account. And the system should allow the social media account to send notification for each message. For this functional requirement, it means the use case is to make sure that when we want to create the project, we must make sure this kind of requirement must be used in the making of the make inquiry, because this is the basic and this is the functional of this make inquiry system, make inquiry subsystem. And this kind which is assignment, which is sometimes this is just some uh, assignment or trail that we can added by the project, which is the system should allow the social media account to accept the voice or image as a message. And for the performance, which is for the quality, which is related to the quality relation requirement, which is the system should be able to alert a therapy if they did not reply during a period of time. So for the performance is, for example, the therapy may be forget or too busy with their therapy. So there will be this system will alert the therapy to send the answer to answer the question of the customer, as it been it been long time. For example, maybe the period of time it can be maybe 2 hours, maybe we can create it, decide it the main inquiry subsystem. And the activity diagram, which is customer firstly start and customer search the social media of their MindCare account. If the customer found the social media of MindCare account, the customer ask the question to the assigned therapy and customer wait for the question to be answered by the therapy. And if the customer did not found the social media account, customer cannot send the question to the therapy and it will be end. So for the self-reflection, based on the study from this course, I understand the concept of how important the relationship between the requirement in creating the system. As we know, the RESM is mostly focused on the purpose of requirement in creating the system. And after I learned this course, I totally understand the purpose of this requirement, as the requirement is the purpose of the project. As we know, requirement is from all can be perspective from the staff, can be perspective from the stakeholder, can be perspective from the management. This kind of requirement is needed to create the project to make sure all perspective can be satisfied as when making the project. Besides the implement of requirement model to identify the requirement in detail help in making the project. The requirement model, as we learn the RSM, we will learn about the requirement model. And this model, which can be helpful for us to identify the requirement. Sometimes we just lost some requirement that we just sometimes we did not alert of this requirement. But if we create this requirement model, sometimes we can use it to identify the requirement that will be lost to find. And then we can implement the functional data and behavioral perspective to easily guide us in the requirement needed for each part of the system. So when, for example, that we want to create the use case of make inquiry, so we will know about the functional, what the functional of make inquiry in the making of the system, what kind of data that will be needed, and what kind of behavioral of the make inquiry that will be needed in the making of the system. And the use of swim lane model also easily help us as the guideline for the project. The swim lane model is like a flow of the what for example, like make inquiry, what kind of flow from the start of the make inquiry, from the start of the customer find the social media account until they send the question. So this flow is for as a guideline, what the process for a guideline for the project, for us to create this project. The RESM also, one of the reason that we would need to study our RESM, because RESM help us in documentation. Documentation is also important because we want to check the progress of our project and for us to briefing the project progress of the project to the stakeholder. So the stakeholder can gain out the trust and can proceed the process of the project. And as a conclusion, the conclusion that I learned from this course is the project is the fundamental knowledge or aspect requirement toward the making of the system is important. This can be helpful for the student to have an experience implement the requirement toward the system. Then I hopefully the RSM course can still be learned in the next semester. As in my opinion, this subject is important for an software and for the software engineer to make a guideline during making the system. I suggest other project will be help for the student to get experience from the subject RESM. I think that's all. Thank you very much.